Hi, welcome to Faithelicious and Friends. My name is Faith, but I like to be called Faithelicious. And it's good to have you here. It's good to be back here after what I'd like to call a hiatus. Life happened, and it's not quite very easy, coming up with content and then just churning it out. Kudos to every other YouTuber out there who's, been doing it and still chasing the notes. It's an amazing work. So if you're one, I want to appreciate you also for taking time out to listen to me. And if you're not one, I'd love that you appreciate them with just a simple thumbs up. It's the least you can do. Okay. Well, the other thing you could do is also help in sharing the video. But I'm grateful for those of you who stick around, who come back every time. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. So I thought a good comeback again would be to talk about something that a lot of us struggle with, that I struggle with, that I know a lot of people struggle with. Whenever we talk about habits we want to stop, one of the most popular ones that come up is procrastination. Yes, a lot of people procrastinate. Now, the problem with saying you want to stop procrastination is that the brain is not very, very great at inaction. It's not well suited for inaction. The brain has an efficient system I'm going to tag, for the sake of this discussion, a go system. So I learned some things that can help coach our brain to minimize the influence procrastination has on our productivity. And I thought, okay, you know what? Let's share this, okay? So I do hope you enjoy it. It's Faithelicious and Friends, and that's what we're talking about today. So don't move a muscle. How we can train our brain to quit procrastination. Now, earlier on, I mentioned something I call the GO system. It's an efficient system. It engages, your system, to engage in goals, and it helps in drive behavior. Basically, GO system. It keeps you on the move. It keeps you on the go. When a goal is engaged, when the GO system is engaged, this leads people to pay more attention to information related to their goals. A very typical example is when you buy a red Hyundai, a brand new, beautiful, glossy looking red Hyundai. You notice that all of a sudden when you're on the road, you start seeing other red Hyundais. Now, it's not like everybody was waiting for you to buy it and then all of a sudden they say, okay, I'm buying it. No, it's that your brain has now, it's now in the purview. In your purview. Your brain is now identifying, the fact that there are other red Hyundais on the road, and you're more likely to notice them than before. So that's what I mean. In the GO system, it engages your mind to pay attention to details, to pay attention to informations, that are related to whatever goal or whatever information you have in your purview. So that is what the GO system does. Now, on the other hand, when someone engages a goal they don't want to actually achieve, they prevent themselves from acting. And they do that by engaging another system which I call the stop system. Obviously, it's the opposite of the first system I mentioned, which is the go system. Get it? Go system, stop system. Now, this system actually inhibits behaviors that the go system encourages you to do, behaviors that would make you move and achieve your goals and achieve your projects. Basically, that is what the stop system is all about. Now, before I move on any further, I want to clarify something I said at the beginning. Remember, I said that you don't want to say you want to stop procrastination because the mind is not suited for inactions. You'd say, but that is the very definition of procrastination, not doing what you're supposed to do. Yes, not doing what you're supposed to do, not that you're inactive. So the problem is with procrastination, you're still in the motion, you're still in the active mode, but you are not doing the important thing. You're not doing the important project, the important goal, the important assignment, the important presentation. You're doing something else, something you're more likely excited about. So yeah, that let's clarify that. So it's all about having the right mind shift. You need to shift your motivation. You see, procrastination is about not doing a particular thing, such as preparing for a big presentation that you feel inadequate about, or going for driving lessons, because you want to get your license, or, making a call to a colleague, and you have bad news. You don't want to do those things, so you put it off, you put it off, you put it off. Often you procrastinate about actions that have some negative outcome associated to them, negative feelings associated to them. We just push them away because we're just not ready to deal, or it just feels too big, or it feels like too much work and I am just not ready for it. Procrastination, right? And I'm sure a lot of us are in that boat. Now, when there is that potential negative outcome in a scenario or in a situation, we engage another thing called the avoidance motivation. It's quite self-explanatory. Avoidance motivation. One great strategy for avoiding a negative outcome that we all have is that we make like the mouse in Tom and Jerry and skedaddle. We flee out of there. It's a good example is when there is physical danger. The first thing, without thinking, your rational or logical brain doesn't have to kick in. You run. Well, for the black man, you run and then ask questions later. But you get yourself out of there, get yourself to somewhere safe, relatively, and then you find out, what was the commotion all about? So yes, it's a typical strategy when avoidance motivation is engaged. We avoid stuff. You're probably wondering and asking, so yes, we avoid stuff, dangerous stuff. How is it related to procrastination? Well, you avoid doing something that you're supposed to do and do something else that is not as important as what it is you're supposed to do. For example, you've got presentation, and instead of working on your presentation, you probably binge watch something on Netflix or on TV, anything to just avoid that potentially negative feeling, potentially negative outcome, which is probably fear of the unknown, probably feeling anxious, having a bit of an anxiety attack towards a particular project because you feel overwhelmed by it. So how do you train your brain to avoid stuff like this? Look for little tasks associated to that project that you're supposed to do that are not as scary, not as intimidating, won't cost you as much anxiety. For example, you've got a presentation. Don't worry about how it's all going to come together. How about starting by just putting out outlines? Just forget about what next. Just do the outlines. Just put pen to paper or your notepad or your iPad or your system, whatever it is that you're going to use. Just put the outlines. Introduction, then there will be objectives, then the body, then blah, 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 blah. You just write it out that way. And then when you group them, you're able to now start fleshing it out little by little. It could be something as simple as, I've got this and this and this and this to do. Why don't I send an email? Why don't I send an SMS? Why don't I put a call through? And just find out what happens. So find the little tasks that are not as overwhelming as the whole picture. Because usually what happens is that when we procrastinate, we're looking at the end result. We are looking at how it's all going to come together. Forget about how it's all going to come together and focus on the simple task. That little task that gets you excited. That little task that is not as daunting as the whole project itself. So start with that, and then you can take it off from there. In fact, just start with that. Don't worry about it. Start with that. Someone once said, and I think I've said it here before, when I'm confused and overwhelmed, I do the dishes. Do you know why that works? Going to do the dishes? Because you engage what is called a doing mindset, which is the next thing I'm talking about now. A doing mindset. You want to get into a doing mindset. Let me give you an example. You go to a car dealer, a proper car dealership shop. Why do you think they ask you to go for a test drive? They ask you to go for a test drive because they want to get you in that doing mindset so that you stay in that doing mindset until you get to the final stage, which is payment, and your new car is going home with you. Also, same thing when we go to the boutiques. They get you to try on all these things. Even when you say, that's not what I want to buy, they get you to try it, get you into the doing mindset. Because when you're in that doing mindset, there is a higher tendency to start and finish. So we need to get into that doing mindset. Now, there are still two subsets in the doing mindsets that I want to break down. First, we have the doing mode, and then we have the thinking mode. Now, this is all under the I want to do something mindset. I'm doing something mindset. There is the do mode and there is the thinking mode. In fact, we even have languages for it. When we want to do something, we've got a project, so I've got to move forward. I've got to move forward with this project. But when we want to get into the thinking mode, we say, I've got to step back and think about it. Now, we want to do more of the do mode than the thinking mode. The thinking mode itself is good, but a lot of us stay there too long and do nothing, which is a dangerous place to be. I know I've been there for quite a while. I'll take, for example, hosting a video. I've got quite a bunch of them that I've recorded, but I'm like thinking, how do I want to put it out there? What timeline do I want? Is this topic suitable for this moment? Am I satisfied with the end result? There's so much when it comes to the thinking mode that holds us back from moving forward. It's not like you're inactive. You're actually sort of in the doing mindset, but there are different steps. There's the do mode, there's the think mode. A lot of us procrastinators don't leave the think mode and move to the do mode. So if you find yourself in the thinking mode, you need to put yourself in the do mode. Just like the car dealer does to you when you get into his shop. Just like the salesperson in the boutique does to you when you get in there. Get out of the think mode and into the do mode. So if you can relate to what I'm talking about, it probably means that you've been in the think mode for quite a while. So quit thinking and actually take the first step. Basically, just get started. And by getting started, you activate the do mode, which makes it easier for you to do the next thing, and then the next, and then the next, until you realize that you have accomplished and finished your project. So there is magic in the first step. Train your mind. When you realize, okay, I've been thinking about this and I've been in the think mode for far too long, it's time for me to do something. Now, doing something doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be as little as putting pen to paper, talking about it with a friend. For me, as little as pointing the camera in front of you and just start talking. As little as that. But you have to take the first step. You have to start with action. Okay, I always say, and anyone who knows me probably has heard this, I always say that there is magic in the first step, because the first step is all you need, is the most important step to getting to the finish line. So I hope that with this, you're able to train your mind to quit procrastinating, on the important stuff. Now, it's not going to be like a magic wand and happen immediately. You're going to practice over and over and over again. When I say there's magic in the first step, sometimes some of us are going to have to take a couple of first steps, because you take the first step, sometimes you stumble, you fall, no problem. Get up and take another first step. That is the magic. Just keep taking that first step till you get to the finish line. It's Faithelicious and friends, and it's been amazing having you, and it's been wonderful getting those requests like, I haven't heard from you, what are you doing? I'm so sorry. I apologize once again, and yes, I am going to try as much as possible to push out more and more stuff here on Faithelicious and friends. Please remember that you can be part of the program. All you have to do is drop a comment, let me know what you would like us to talk about, and we'll talk about it. Hey, we could even do it together, probably through Zoom or something. We could do it together and have a very, very interesting discussion on whatever topic it is that you are looking for us to talk about. I would gladly do that. It's all about keeping things real here on Faithelicious and friends. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you who have already subscribed, but just go ahead, subscribe, and then hit the thumbs up button, okay? Yes, remember to do that. Hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to get notified every time a video goes up, hit the little bell at the corner and you get notified. You can get notified for every single video, and you can get notified for occasional videos. Your choice. Just pick it. And remember, if you're on a mobile phone, go to your settings and activate notifications so that you are notified whenever we come up with a video here on Faithelicious and friends. I look forward to seeing you very soon again. Hopefully we quit procrastinating and we'll do better. Fingers crossed. Have a wonderful day. Bye.